Hi, welcome to Band Tier. This is a channel where we look at some of my favorite bands and talk about either their full discographies or just some of their songs, so you guys have an idea on where to start with them. And in this video, we're going to be counting down my top 10 favorite songs from Dutch symphonic metal band Epica. I got into Epica around 2017, and it was actually kind of a lucky find with this band. The way I got into them basically was they were playing a show, and Lacuna Coil was opening for them. I was a big Lacuna Coil fan at the time, so my dad was like, "Okay, let's go to the show." The tickets were only like $20, and I didn't know who they were. And like 2 days before the show, I downloaded their best of compilation, and I was like, "Oh, these guys are pretty good." And then I saw them live, and I was just floored by that show. And they've been one of my favorite bands ever since. What I really love about Epica is how I would say out of all the like major symphonic metal bands, they're the most symphonic out of all of them. They really, really incorporate their orchestras into their music, but they're also the most metal out of all of them. They have the most technically complex songs. They've got crazy guitar solos, double bass pummeling, and this is a band that incorporates a wide variety of styles and sounds in not only their albums, but in individual songs, which is something that I really, really love about them. They've been around since 2003, and with 8 albums to choose from, there's a lot of material, so whittling this down into a top 10 list was not easy. As a result, I have a list in the description of some honorable mentions that I would highly recommend checking out. But these are the songs from them that I think make the top 10. So without further ado, let's get into it with the number 10 spot. Coming in at number 10, we have a cut from the Quantum Enigma. And spoiler alert, this will not be the last song from the Quantum Enigma to make this list. That is definitely my favorite Epica album. This song is called Unchained Utopia. And this one is a live staple at any Epica show for a very good reason. This song's really got a massive, massive chorus on it. Simone sounds so good on those verses, and I really like a lot of the keyboard and orchestral parts in this one. This song is very easy to listen to just over and over and over again, and if I was getting someone into Epica, probably one of the first songs I'd play them. Great track, and in my opinion, it takes the number 10 spot. Coming in at number 9, we have Beyond the Matrix. This song is just fun, man. I remember the first time I heard this song was when I saw them and they played it live, and it was probably one of my favorite moments of the whole concert. The crowd really, really got into it, just shouting that chorus, and it's a song that every time I listen to it, it's stuck in my head for a pretty long time. It's my favorite song off the Holographic Principle. It's just so like upbeat, and it's one of those songs, it's just good to pump yourself up to. And killer, killer guitar solo from Isaac on this song. So yeah, it was kind of hard to pick one from the Holographic Principle to put on here. I could easily interchange this with something like Dancing in a Hurricane, Universal Death Squad, A Phantasmic Parade, but I ended up going with Beyond the Matrix, mostly because of the concert memories, because that's a big part of this song's placement on the list.
I am suffocating in a world in which I have to die to feel alive. Can we find the lightning that shines inside our minds? Can we fight the dark?
Omega hasn't even been out for a month yet, but already I know that this is one of the best albums that Epica has ever made. And one song off of here that I knew immediately when I heard it that it was one of my favorite Epic songs was the second track on, well, second full length track on the album, The Skeleton Key. This thing is just haunting. Like those creepy piano notes coming in, Simone almost whispering over those verses, and then it just leads up to this huge, huge chorus. There's a great guitar solo on this song, and I love the integration of children's choirs into the song. It really, really gives it that creepy feel. Also, this one's got a great music video, and I cannot wait for COVID to be over so I can go see this song and several other great songs on Omega get played live.
A humble genuflection for the onrushing ascendancy.
Epica are no strangers to criticizing religion, and one of the songs where I think that they do that best is on Fools of Damnation, off of the Divine Conspiracy. I love the chorus on this thing. This is one of those, again, one of those songs that just, it'll get stuck in your head. Mark's growling sounds really, really good on this one too. And there's just some wicked guitar and percussion work on this song. A lot of the percussion work on the Divine Conspiracy in general is just fantastic. And this is one of the songs off that album that I go back to the most. Anytime you see a 10-minute plus runtime on an Epica song, you know you're in for something amazing. And I've got several of those other epics in the honorable mention section in the description. The one I ended up going with for this list, though, and the one that I probably listened to more than any of their other ones, is Kingdom of Heaven, which comes off of Design Your Universe. That 13-minute runtime can seem a bit intimidating to someone who's like just getting into this band, so I wouldn't really recommend starting here. But, you know, once you found your footing, oh my god, this song. This is the probably most complex, technically, song they've ever done. A lot of the drumming is just craziness. The guitar, there's like 3 guitar solos on this thing that are just nuts. Awesome shredding from both guitar players on this. Mark's growling really takes the front, especially at the beginning of the song, and Simone sounds great as always. This is one of those songs that you just you just put it on and it just puts you in your own world while you're listening to it. One of my favorites for sure. Highly, highly recommend listening to Kingdom of Heaven. What I love so much about Reverence is how this is a song that keeps the energy at 15 for like the whole song. This is another, it's a bit more of an upbeat Epica song, but yeah, it's the energy on this one that I really, really love. That introduction with just those blast beats coming in. Also, Simone gives one of her best vocal performances on this song. Some of those chorus notes are just crazy, crazy high. And yeah, it's just another awesome song from the Quantum Enigma, which is an album that is front to back just full of amazing songs. Burn to a Cinder will always hold a special place in my heart because this was the first Epic song that I ever heard. So, of course, I'm a bit biased towards it, but wow, what an introduction to have to the band. This thing, like, arguably the heaviest song Epica has ever done. Just that opening riff is just awesome. Simone actually sings with a lot of aggression on the verses of this song, and then it all just builds up to this huge, huge, incredible chorus. Also, it has maybe my favorite Epica guitar solo on it, although that's really tough. But Isaac really, really lays down a killer solo. And this is one of those songs that I can just listen to over and over and over and over again. It's really catchy. And honestly, if I was getting somebody into Epica, this might actually be the song that I play them, because it's accessible and it's what introduced me to the band. So of course it's going to be pretty high up on the list. You want a song that just sounds absolutely epic? This track from the Quantum Enigma, The Essence of Silence, has you covered. This is probably where Mark gives his best growling performance, in my opinion, and some of those live videos of this one that you can find on YouTube, he sounds really, really awesome when he's doing his growling there. The chorus here, I know I talk about like a lot of these songs having these massive choruses, but here it's really, really true. It's such a catchy song that you'll really get stuck in your head. There's like 5 or 6 just phenomenal riffs throughout it, and a wicked guitar solo. Of all the songs on the Quantum Enigma, this is probably the one that I go back to the most, and I would say it's my favorite song on that album. It's really, really great, and it's a song every Epica fan needs to hear.
In the end, but all we count is sentiment.
2009's Design Your Universe is one of the heaviest and most intense albums that we've ever gotten from Epica. Yet my favorite song on this album is a little ballad by the name of Tides of Time. I remember going through that Epica Best Of compilation, which was how I got into the band after I heard Burn to a Cinder. That was what I downloaded. And yeah, I remember getting to Tides of Time, and after hearing a bunch of songs from Requiem for the Indifferent, and then it gets to the Design Your Universe section of that, and it's everything before that was so heavy, and then we just get to this gorgeous little ballad. Those little piano notes opening it. Simone's voice is a lot more calm and subdued on the verses of this, and then it goes into that chorus, and it's just like full. It really shows off her range. I would argue that Tides of Time is probably the song which shows off Simone's ability as a vocalist the best. And then you get to the second half of this song, which it really, really builds up to, and it's just massive when the rest of the band comes in. Wicked guitar solo on here. This is a song that never gets old. It is without a doubt my favorite song on Design Your Universe. And yeah, this is pretty much mandatory listening for any metal fan out there, but it's not number one. One song just barely edges it out. 'You know how I talked about how Tides of Time builds? Well, Epica don't have a song that builds better than Chasing the Dragon. And for me, that's what really makes this Epica's best song, in my opinion, is the way in which this thing builds. You start out with an acoustic guitar, Simone's very high and operatic, and gradually it slopes up until the last few minutes when everything just goes nuts. Full band comes in. There's some great growling sections from Mark. It's really, really heavy, and it just flows so naturally from sound to sound. This is another one I first heard on that Best Of compilation, and yeah, this is my favorite Epica song of all time for sure. They have a lot of great ones, but for me, it's just Chasing the Dragon is number one, just because of it's this musical journey across its whole length. Fantastic track. Hope you guys enjoyed that video covering lovely Dutch symphonic metal band Epica. And if you watched this video and you hadn't heard of Epica before, well, now you have some stuff to check out. This really is a great band that I don't think gets enough credit in the metal world, at least over here in North America. So, yeah, I enjoyed making that video. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.